So it's a proven fact that investing in stocks outperforms every asset class available. So it includes bonds, cash, as well as commodities. So why would anybody invest in anything but stocks if they have a long-term time horizon? By long-term meaning 15 years or more. Main answer is fear. On October 19th, 1987, the Dow lost 22% in a day. Uh, Being around that time involved in the market, not the funnest day. If you invested in stocks in the Nasdaq back in 2000, you're still underwater by 50%. The Nasdaq's currently trading at about 2,200. Back in 2000, it was about 5,000. Of course, there is the Newsweek magazine article in 1973 that declared that stocks were dead. So the investment world can be a very, very scary place to invest. But despite all the setbacks, the wars, the depressions, the recessions, scares of just about every type, stocks have still managed to return about 8 to 9% since the Great Depression. So if you were properly allocated, you may have actually been rewarded with some better returns. So on top of fears, there are still people that think that they can time the market and do it with regular success. Back in 2000, there was a Paine-Webber analyst, Walt Piecyk, who made a prediction that Qualcomm would reach 1,000 within the next 30 to 60 days. Today, Qualcomm trades at about 50. There's an economist by the name of Harry Dent who predicted that the Dow would hit 30,000 several years ago, 5 to 10 years ago. As you know, that didn't take place. The Federal Reserve, how many times have you heard the Federal Reserve and some of the economists that work for the White House saying, hey, the economy's better, or it will be returning back to normal in the next quarter. And then the next quarter goes by and things are just as bad or if not worse. So I guess the point I'm trying to make that if economists that go to Harvard and Yale that are very well educated, people on Wall Street who do this thing for 40, 50 hours a week for their livelihood, can't control what the market's going to do. The average person being able to predict a market, where it's going to go from day to day, very, very difficult. Not impossible. There are traders that do make a living and do very well by trading stocks. For every one successful trader, you can count between 5 and 10 people blowing up their account and to zero. So the other thing that kind of hinders most people is their retirement plan. So while it's almost impossible to know exactly how much you're going to need, you should really try to come up with your best estimate. Find a financial planner, put some stuff in writing, get a plan together. Get a plan that you're going to be able to live with, that you're not going to lose sleep overnight with, so that the next time the market goes down 10 to 20%, I mean, we had a 12% correction here in May. If you're properly allocated and you believe in the plan that you have set, chances are you didn't lose any sleep, and most importantly, you didn't make any stupid mistakes, like selling at the absolute bottom. Hopefully, what you did was continuing the dollar cost average into the market, putting aside the same amount of money every month, and buying more shares when the market's low and buying less when the market's higher. The other thing you have to consider is how much risk do you have on the table. If you had all of your money in the S&P 500 over the last 10 years, you didn't make any money. You made nothing. You leveraged your house to buy a second house, to get another mortgage on a second house on a vacation home, or a second house to rent. Chances are you've lost a lot of money over the last couple of years. Leverage has put a very, very big damper on a lot of people's retirement. So as long as you're properly leveraged, and are not overly, or I should say, under diversified in what you currently have, you should be okay. The next thing you'll have to really worry about is inflation. While inflation's not a problem right now, we're in a deflationary period. Eventually, deflation is going to, or rather, inflation is going to come back. There's only so long the Fed's going to be able to hold interest rates in the 3 to 5% range for mortgages. We may never see these rates again. Um, Typically, in an inflationary period, real estate does well. In times of uncertainty, gold has done very well, which is currently why you see it up at around $1,200 an ounce. So your investments need to work extremely hard to make sure that you don't outlive them. The general rule of thumb is that you can safely withdraw about 4% of your liquid assets. Um, so that means that if you're currently a millionaire, you can safely withdraw about $40,000 a year without ever running out of money. So while that's fine and dandy, if you can live on 40 grand a year, that's great. In approximately 25 years from now, however, that 40,000 is going to be eaten up in about half by inflation. The average wage in 1983 was about 15,000. In 2008, it's about 41,000. So salaries are doubling, roughly keeping up with the amount of inflation. So your nest egg is going to have to work extremely, extremely hard for you. So you want to make sure that you are properly allocated. A good financial planner can help you with that, and a good accountant. You want to actually hire a good accountant as well, because it's not what you make; it's what you keep. And with the tax rates going up, to pay off the current deficit, we won't get into that. But taxes, there's a very good chance taxes are going to be going up, and you really need to have a good team surrounding you. So that team would include a good tax attorney or a tax accountant, as well as a financial planner who's got some experience under their belt and can help formulate a plan with you to make sure that you're well taken care of after you stop working. This is Larry Lane for Investor Zoo. If you'd like to read up additional blogs, please go to our site, investorzoo.com, and you can also post one of your own if you'd like to give back to the community. Thanks and have a great day.